What's up, everybody? So the title of this video, just like my last one about Steven Avery, might throw a few of you off. But this video isn't necessarily for the people that have followed this case from the beginning and continue to follow it closely. I get messages on a daily basis from people that are just discovering the Making a Murderer documentary, or people that watched it originally when it came out but didn't keep up with it. And now I'm getting messages from people all over the world, in different countries, overseas, down south, everywhere, that I don't know if Making a Murderer has been released in more places recently or something, but I've been getting a lot of messages of people telling me that they are just discovering the documentary for the very first time and they cannot believe what they watched. So unfortunately, yes, Brendan Dassey was arrested in 2006 when he was just 16 years old. It is now 16 years later. It is 2022 and he still sits in prison for a crime he had absolutely nothing to do with. At one point in time, things looked very good for Brendan Dassey. He had his conviction overturned, but unfortunately that was short-lived, as they overturned the overturned conviction and stated that he was to remain in prison. So there are people out there in the legal process that believe Brendan Dassey had absolutely nothing to do with this crime, despite the fact that there's no evidence against Brendan Dassey. There's no DNA, there's no evidence, there's nothing on Brendan Dassey that he actually committed this crime. Just his words that were coerced by Thomas Fassbender and Mark Weirgert. They just fed him the information. He repeated it back, and that's why he was convicted. Brendan Dassey was just used as a pawn in order for them to be able to convict Brendan Dassey. The police did not care what they were doing to Brendan. They used him to get what they want. They wanted Steven Avery. They didn't want to pay Steven Avery $36 million, so they did everything they could, including taking away the life of a 16-year-old boy for the past 16 years. If you watch those interrogation tapes, I've watched every second of every bit of information that is available, and there's no doubt in my mind that he had absolutely nothing to do with this. Brendan has a very low IQ. He was just repeating back the information that was said to him from people you're supposed to be able to trust. You should be able to trust law enforcement. Children are brought up and told that they can trust the police. The police are there to help them. Not in this case. They abused that trust of Brendan Dassey's, and it cost Brendan Dassey so far 16 years of his life. It is absolutely disgusting. But that's why I made this video, just like I made the last video about Steven Avery, and the reason I make these videos is I want to make as much noise as possible to bring this as much into the mainstream as we can, to make as much noise as we can, to let the lawyers and the politicians and the police and everybody involved in this particular case know it's not okay what they did. It's not okay that they took away a 16-year-old boy's life just to wrongfully convict somebody else. It's absolutely disgusting. So the more noise we make, the more coverage will be on this case, and hopefully one day will lead to Brendan Dassey being released from prison, and I sure hope it is sooner than later. Let me know what you think. I hope you're having a good day. Leave some comments below, and I'll see you again soon.